In August 1977, Chicago police detectives Joseph Stachler and Lee Eplin were 6 months deep into a frustratingly fruitless investigation to uncover the murderer of Teresita Basa. Born in the Philippines in 1929, Teresita Basa had migrated to the United States a decade before her murder to study music. She later became a respiratory therapist at the Edgewater Hospital in Chicago, Illinois. On February 21, 1977, Basa was found in her 15th floor apartment, naked. She was stabbed through her chest with a butcher knife and was set on fire and left underneath a pile of burning clothes and a burning mattress. The fire department discovered her mortally wounded body after responding to a call around 8:40 that evening about a fire at Pine Grove Avenue in Lincoln Park. That night Basa died. She had been in her home and received at least 2 phone calls in the evening, one around 7:10 p.m. from a friend to talk about selling a pair of tickets for an upcoming theater event, and another at 7:30 p.m. lasting about 20 minutes, ending when an unknown guest arrived. Police proceeded to interview family and friends about the murder but uncovered no one with a motive to murder Teresita. After investigating for 6 months, the case seemed to go cold, and it appeared it would never be solved. In August 1977, 6 months after Basa's murder, Dr. Jose Chua, whose wife Remy Chua also did work as a respiratory therapist at the Edgewater Hospital, stepped forward to say that Teresita Basa had possessed his wife on 3 separate occasions. He claimed that Remy had seemingly been in a trance when her body was inhabited and spoke in Tagalog, native to the Philippines. According to him, she said, "Doctor, I would like to ask for your help. The man who murdered me is still at large." The doctor told police he didn't know Basa and was not aware of her murder until his wife's possession. Not wanting to look foolish, the doctor said he had waited to talk to police, thinking he could avoid having to explain his strange story. The detectives investigating the case, Joseph Stachler and Lee Eplin, actually believed the couple, citing their education and station in life. Jose Chua told detectives that while Basa had possessed Remy, she said that the man who took her life was Alan Showery, an orderly that worked at the hospital that Basa and Chua worked for. Basa had been helping Showery out financially by paying him generously for helping her with errands and other tasks. Showery had supposedly shown up at Basa's apartment under the guise of fixing a broken television for her, and instead stabbed her and robbed her of her jewelry before lighting her on fire and fleeing the scene. There had been no evidence of forced entry, leading police to suspect Basa knew her killer. Investigators went to Showery's apartment where he lived with his pregnant girlfriend. When they searched the place, they found a jade pendant and a pearl ring. The girlfriend told police Showery had given the jewelry to her as a late Christmas gift. The pieces were confirmed to belong to Basa by friends and members of her family. Showery first denied emphatically that he had murdered Basa, but later ended up confessing. He admitted going to visit Basa the night of her death, rendering her unconscious, staging a sexual crime and stealing what little he could find before igniting the fire. Police then booked him. Over 4 days, the jury of 8 men and 4 women heard testimony from 13 witnesses, including the Chuas who, surprisingly, testified for the defense. Though Showery's attorneys tried to cast doubt on the mysterious voice, prosecutors focused on the evidence uncovered due to the supposed voice of Basa coming through Chua. By the 5th day of the trial, Showery claimed that he only confessed to the crime after police gave him explicit details about it and threatened to arrest him and his pregnant girlfriend for murder if he did not admit to killing Basa. He contended he had dinner with his girlfriend on the night of the murder before drinking and playing darts with a neighbor around 7:30 p.m. January 26, 1979, the trial ended in a mistrial because the jury was deadlocked, unable to decide what to believe. A second trial was scheduled. A month later, on February 23, 1979, nearly 2 years after Basa's murder, Showery pleaded guilty while awaiting a new trial against the advice of his lawyers. Showery was sentenced to only 14 years in prison for murder, robbery, and arson. He was paroled in July 1983. Though Showery served time for Basa's murder, questions about the case linger. There are some key details that cast even more doubt on Remy Chua's account. For example, Remy Chua and Showery weren't strangers. They both worked in the same department at Edgewater Hospital with Basa. Chua suspected Showery had previously made complaints about her quality of work at the hospital. It even came out that Chua thought the convicted man had made a prank call to her just one day before she first claimed to be possessed. Ironically, or not so ironically, her psychic powers kicked in just hours after she found out she had been fired from Edgewater Hospital. Not only do people question the timing coincidentally following a series of run-ins between Showery and Chua, but they wonder why Showery confessed when he had a chance of walking free. That question may never be answered. Those who have followed and written about the case over the years have offered their own theories. Others have held the story up as shining proof of paranormal phenomena.